The following podcast is proudly sponsored by one of the finest public golf courses in all of Ontario. It's Crosswinds Golf and Country Club in Burlington. And I'm telling you now, go and play it. It's fabulous. 18 holes of championship golf, suitable for all levels of play. Yes, including mine. Gorgeous views of Rattlesnake Point and Mount Nemo along the Niagara Peninsula. Sorry, the Niagara Escarpment. I get them mixed up. And the finest customer service that's allowed by law. You'll feel like a member of a private golf course when you experience what Crosswinds has to offer. So don't delay, because fall golf is here, and you might even have to wear gloves like Toronto Mike did. And at Crosswinds, man, it's beautiful. We were there Monday. We had a great time on Customer Appreciation Day. You'll love it too. So book your tee time online now at crosswindsgolf.com and save $10 per golfer. And when you get there, tell them Hebsy sent you. Now, Mike, let's start the podcast. It's like the Tonight Show theme, right? You got to let it run sometimes. Got to let it go. Got to let it establish the show.
But it makes me nervous. I wonder, did we lose Hebsy?
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to Hebsy on Sports, episode number 302. I'm Mark Hebscher along with Toronto Mike. Today on the show, we're heavily invested in the Blue Jays and their quest for postseason play and our quest for postseason baseball viewing. Because really, who cares if other teams are playing, right? 3 more games against Tampa this weekend, and they had better improve on last night's stinker. Oh, we'll talk about it. Oh, yeah. We'll get to the crazy wild card race in a minute and look ahead to the final couple weeks of the season. Oh, it's so exciting. Also, Aaron Judge's pursuit of Roger Maris's record continues. He almost tied him last night. There's a deep drive, deep to center field. Everybody went nuts, caught on the warning track. But very exciting.
Right.
By the way, Mike, what would you do? I'll ask you this later again, but in the intro, and I'll listen to the listeners. If you caught Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball, all-time American League record, if you caught that ball, what would you do? Think about it. In the moment, catching it alone, it's just like you caught a ball. You got a ball. And then it's like the Holy Grail. Ooh. And in a moment's notice, because people are going to be going wild, you're going to think, you have to go, all right, I now have this ball. The value of this ball is inconceivable to me. I don't know. What am I going to do? Or is it like, throw it back? Maybe not that. Or is it like, oh, I'd like to meet Aaron Judge and maybe get an autographed bat and uniform and Yankee seasons tickets and a helicopter ride over Yankee Stadium and a visit to the monuments. And anyway, we'll talk about that. And please, ladies and gentlemen, do not compare Aaron Judge to Babe Ruth ever. Please. I don't care if he's going to win the Triple Crown. The Babe was the greatest. There really is no comparison. So don't even try. In hockey, 3 NHL defensemen retire on the same day. One's in the Hall of Fame for sure. What about the other 2? Leaf training camp opens. Everybody's waiting for the playoffs because we've heard this song and dance before. And I don't want to burden Toronto Mike with it or other Leaf fans with this. Oh, it looks like a good season. He might score 70 goals. Doesn't matter. It's all about the playoffs. The NFL Thursday Nighters saw the Brownies win over the Steelers, the Laver Cup, and Roger Federer's swan song. The President's Cup, which is just a dumb tournament that, like, Americans just stomp everybody. It's awful. And the Boston Celtics suspend their coach for a year because he was shtupping somebody that he wasn't supposed to be shtupping. Shtupping. You don't, even though it's consensual, you don't shtup somebody in the same organization. You know what I mean? Like, go out.
I know what you're saying.
You know, what's the expression?
You don't S where you eat.
Right. You don't. What a week in sports. Let's say hi officially now to Toronto Mike.
Happy autumn, Hebsy man.
Yes, it's the autumnal Hebsy on Sports. That's right. We're into the season, the best season. What sport isn't taking place right now? What sport is not there? It's quiet.
Well, now that hockey's starting up, I think everything's happening. Everything is happening, right?
Everything. Lacrosse season is it's a ways away. But I mean, really, right. Basketball season hasn't started yet, but has it ever stopped, really? Anyway, it's very exciting. And let's get to it, Mike, here, because it's all about the Blue Jays right now. It's playoffs. It's It's fucking Tampa. God, I hate Tampa. I can't. I mean, I like the area, but their sports teams just up like the Lightning. Fuck, every time the Leafs play the Lightning, and this Jays Tampa, especially in Tampa at that horrible stadium. Which, by the way, Mike,
Yes,
pretty good crowd last night there. Pretty good. 8,799. And that's how many people. That's how many people fit in the 200 level at the Dome. That's terrible. That's just awful. And this team they should be in Montreal. We'll get into that another time. All right. Last November, the Toronto Blue Jays signed right-hander Jose Berrios to a 7-year, $131 million contract extension. Remember that, Mike?
of course.
Remember Berrios. That's got me nuts now, that whole, you know what that is? That's Shapiro. And that's the famous one from Seinfeld. Which one? Levine.
Okay, and also WKRP. This is Les Nessman, Chai Rodriguez.
No, but that's different. That was a. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to listen to. I'm trying to hear Dan Shulman's voice in my head. He goes Berrios, right? It's Berrios. He says Jose Berrios.
Quick aside, real quick, is that I just heard an interview with Ann Fernandez. Okay, what's her name? Layla Fernandez. Apology.
No. What is she? Leela.
Okay.
Commercials.
But
she calls herself Leela. Hi, I'm Leela with the new camera with the pixel.
Okay.
Leela. She calls herself Leela. Come on.
You're right. Okay, Leela is what she calls herself, but she also wants the middle name in there. Like she's asking. She prefers if you bring back Annie, like Leela Ann, not just Leela. Because people have just gone with Leela Fernandez.
But she calls herself on the commercial. She says, "Hi, I'm Leela." Not I'm Leela Annie. I'm Leela. So how do you expect? Listen, if you call yourself something, we're going to call you the same thing.
So what does Jose call himself?
Now in midstream, you're saying, please call me something else.
Well, like Joey Bell, right?
No, don't even.
Or Manny Lee. But tell me
what?
How does Jose say his last name?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. JB, I'm going to call him from now on. JB. Right-handed pitcher, 7-year, $131 million extension. And at the time, the Blue Jays believed they were locking up one of the game's most reliable young starters. And we thought the same thing, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I wonder, I know what I'm thinking today. What are you thinking today about Jose Berrios?
Not so good, Al.
I would say, okay, and I believe that I don't think I'm stretching a point. He's been an unmitigated disaster this year. We've given him lots of slack. Remember, on opening day, he got bombed. He was our opening day pitcher. He got bombed. Did he not last a third of an inning, Mike? Right. Was it 7 runs in the third? Was it 6 earned runs? I don't remember. And from that day forward, it's been like, oh, what are we going to get? And then he's shown some flashes of brilliance. Don't get me wrong. He hasn't been horribly horrible. Well, yeah, he has. He has. Don't look at the 1-loss record. That's bullshit. Look at the ERA. Look at the FIP. Look at all the quip and the, all right. It's been a disaster. He's not going to be part of the rotation once they make the playoffs. And dare I say it, Mike, maybe he shouldn't even be on the playoff roster. Is that a horrible thing to say? Is that the wrong thing to say? He's got 2 more starts. We're going to need him. I guarantee you. Neither of the games that he starts are going to be one of those, we don't need to win this game. It's reached the point now where Schneider and the coaching staff and everybody's got to get together going, okay, what's our rotation going to be? And Manoah. Well, what if we need Manoah on the last day? What about, hey, man, Manoah's got to be your game 1 starter in the playoffs. I don't care where it is. Don't care. I'd rather have Alek Manoah pitching on the moon to the 9 best switch hitters in baseball. I don't care. Than somebody else starting game 1 of a best of 3.
Okay, 2 notes. One quickly on your YouTube channel where we're live every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Scott points out that the Jays are 22-8 in games that Berrios starts. 22-8 is our record.
Doesn't matter. I don't care. That means nothing to me now. Are you confident with him on the mound? Answer me that. Just answer me that. Forget the 22-8. Forget the record of the team when he pitches, because they get him out of trouble when they score 18 runs.
Right. No, good points. Good point. And also that whole idea of getting the home field, I guess, in that last game of the season instead
Everybody
of
wants dough. They want the
yeah,
money. They
it's
don't want
cash,
the.
right?
I want the win. I want the W. I want to win the series, get to the National League Division Series, beat the shit out of the Yankees. Okay, and then maybe take my chances with Houston in the ALCS. That's the way I'm looking at it. Seriously. Okay, and this guy can't be part of. He can't be. Okay, if he makes some kind of remarkable recovery, but I mean, and let's admit it, there were some weird plays where he tapped the ball and he, and a squibber here and a blooper there, and okay, but he's been awful this year. He's been awful, and never mind that. We got 3 more games against these guys, and maybe more in the playoffs in that cesspool of a ballpark. Okay, it's horrible there. I'd feel better if they played the Rays in our cesspool of a ballpark. Anyway, last night the final was 10-5 at the Trop. The lead for the Jays atop the wild card standings has been sliced to 1 game over Tampa, 1.5 over the Mariners. I'm going to look at the schedules in a second. What's his name? Threw 74 pitches in 2 innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 runs before being told his services were no longer required. And please don't use all the hot water in the clubhouse when you take a shower. Thanks for coming out. Richards, Pop, Phelps, and Griffin relieved in that order. No, not the law firm. Griffin, in fact, you know who that is, right? That's lefty Foster Griffin, who was toiling in Buffalo after being acquired in July from Kansas City. Do you know who we acquired? Do you know who we gave up to get this guy? I don't even remember. I don't either. I don't even remember this trade. Okay, KC, we made a deal with Minifield, but that wasn't in July, was it? No. Anyway, Foster Griffin, there you go. He's a lefty. Now, granted, the Jays didn't arrive in Tampa until 4 a.m. They're professional athletes, okay? 4 a.m. Didn't get to bed till 4:30. The game was at like 6:45. That's another thing. What's with these weird starts? Every afternoon, I'm like, oh, shit, is the Jays game on at 6:30? Like, you're thinking that's when the broadcast starts. Like, that's when the first pitch is like 6:40. Anyway, so my clock's all screwed up. Their clocks are all screwed up, right?
Right.
But then you go, 4 a.m., no problem. Because in the first inning, Springer triples and Bichette drives him home with a double. We get the lead. And then what's his name gives up like 3 runs. And then say Oscar Hernandez and Whit Merrifield homer. And hey, it's 3-3. And we're like, oh, this is no problem, man. We'll kick the crap out of these guys. And then, what's his name runs into trouble in the bottom of the second. That was all she wrote. And they lose. Of note, Merrifield hit 2 homers last night. They lost 10-5. He hit 2 homers. And on the second one, which is in the 9th inning, down by 5 runs, he refuses the home run jacket. And I've been saying this all along. The jacket is great when you're leading, but like, man, you're down by 5 runs in the 9th. No, but you can't do it. So I wonder what's going to happen there. Speaking of home runs, Vladdy has 3 this month. That's it. His RBI numbers are minuscule when he doesn't hit a homer. So in other words, it's feast or famine, literally. Vladdy's going to drive in runs via the home run, but very rarely certainly not lately, is he driving in runs with runners on base with singles. Vladdy has only 2 RBI in the past 26 games that didn't come via the home run.
That's remarkable.
Think about that, Mike. Think about that. 2 RBI. So I'm talking 2 RBI homerless situations.
Right. That's incredible. That sounds like Rob Deere.
I don't know about Rob Deere's numbers, but anyway, I researched that and I was flabbergasted because he had an 11-game hitting streak snapped last night. I don't think anyone mentioned that. I'm like, well, geez, the guy. But during the 11-game hitting streak, he was hitting like 268. So really, he has not been contributing that way, and he hasn't been resting either. And defensively, he's been, much better than expected. Much better than expected. Boy, the range that the guy has and the enthusiasm he has out there, and some of the plays he makes are brilliant. But he's gotta pick it up. He has to. Mitch White gets the start tonight. Remember him? This poor guy, up and down 7 times with the Dodgers last year. Been on the taxi squad. Every time he doesn't get a start, he's getting the start. But I think, like, I'd rather see him as the next guy. Like, let an opener go and then Mitch White, because he was great when he did that a couple of weeks ago. So we'll be keeping a close eye on him. But here's the rub. Alek Manoah was supposed to start tonight, But John Schneider has manipulated his pitching staff so that if necessary, Manoah would pitch in game 162 if the Jays needed to win in order to gain home field advantage. So Schneider's admitting this. And I'm like, wait a second. Hold it.
Yeah.
Is home advantage that important that you're going to risk not having your best pitcher pitch in that series? That's a maximum of 3 games. He's going to pitch game 162. He's not going to be available. And you're going to tell me that you're going to throw 3 other starters and not Manoah because you used Manoah to get you. You're already in the playoffs. But now you need that home advantage. So you throw Manoah in 162. I don't like that. So anyway, they backed him up a day.
Wait, hold that fire, because I just want to shout out. Ironically, his name is Jim Rogers, actually, but that's his name. But he says basically it's all about Rogers' bottom line with that decision. What say you, Mark Hebscher?
Of course it is. Of course.
That's bullshit.
Of course, man. I want to win. I don't care if it's at home or not. And you think having it at home is necessarily an advantage? I don't know about that.
The bigger advantage
lot of pressure on the home team in a short series, right? Now, in this case, all the games are at home. So, yeah, for sure you want home. You've got to have it. Got to.
The bigger advantage.
You can't go in there and not have. You can't go in there at home and not have your best pitcher.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The bigger advantage to the Jays is he has to pitch in the playoffs. You can't.
What I'm saying to you is you can manipulate your staff so that on game 162 you can still put your best pitchers out there, but you're not going to waste your best starter who's playoff bound in that game. You can have a series of guys. You go 1, you go 2, you go 1. If we need Romano, we use Romano, and then there's a day off, and then the playoffs begin. You're at the end of the season now, right? You're coming to the end of the season. Your guys have got to be in shape to go whatever's necessary, but best of 3 to not have Manoah. Please.
But I'm surprised to even hear these words out loud, because yes, you know, Rogers makes more revenue for hosting games at the Dome, obviously.
Big time. Huge.
But that's not isn't the goal to just win, baby? Like, the goal is the World Series, not to, pad the bottom line for Rogers.
Well, maybe one of your guests on Toronto Mike should be somebody in the know that can answer those questions. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Anyway, all right, so we'll get to that. Okay. Aaron Judge of the Yankees got everybody excited last night at the house that Ruth built. I find that ironic because I don't think they'll ever call it the house that Judge built, because you could hit a pop fly to right field and hit a home run. We'll get on that. So he's sitting on 60 home runs, and it's an incredible feat. Don't get me wrong. Right. It's incredible. I don't care the size of the ballparks. That's something these days. In order to break Babe's record, though, he needed a dinger in the 9th inning of a 4-4 game with Boston last night. And I'm telling you, man, I'm watching. He blasted it deep center field. This could be it. It was my heart's jumping out. I'm sure everybody there was like, oh my God, I could be witness to history. And it was caught on the warning track. Now, of course, Judge is being compared to Babe Ruth, naturally, in this magical season that sees him leading the American League in hitting, home runs, and RBIs. That would be a triple crown, and that's a rare feat in baseball, and that is incredible. But in reality, if you really want to compare Judge with Ruth, there's no comparison to this season that Judge has with Babe's season in 1927. Consider this. Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs, drove in 165 runs, and hit 356 that year. His OPS was 1.258. He walked 137 times and struck out 89. Aaron Judge has 60 homers, 128 RBI. He's only hitting 316. Ruth hit 356. Judge has an OPS of 1.126, amazing, and has walked 94 times and struck out 160 times. But as well, Judge plays in tiny ballparks with short fences. When Babe Ruth played, it was 472 feet to center field at Yankee Stadium. 472.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? 438 in the power alley. Now, Yankee Stadium center field's 408.
Wow.
All right. It's like 377 in the gap. Come on. At Fenway Park, when Ruth played, it was 352 to right field at Fenway. 352. Now, 302 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, I can't take anything away from Judge because, but when you compare him to Ruth, yes, I can. And I'm not saying that Judge is going, oh, yeah, compare me to Babe Ruth. No way. He's not like that. He knows.
Right.
So consider this. And the Triple Crown thing would be tremendous to see. but hitting 316 to win the title is like one of the lowest ever batting averages. Would be one of the lowest ever in history of the American League if he won it. So listen to this. Babe Ruth won the home run and RBI crown together 5 times. Led the league in homers and RBIs 5 times. That year, his batting averages, those 5 years, were 322, 376, 378, 393, and 372. And he didn't win the batting title any of those years. So he didn't win the Triple Crown. And the only batting title he won, 1924, he did it with a 378 average, and he didn't lead the league in RBIs that year. So Ruth was greater. And if you don't believe me, consider that when he hit 60 home runs in 1927, several teams in the major leagues did not hit 60 home runs.
Full stop right there.
He hit more home runs than entire teams.
That's it.
How's that for context? Is that context?
Yes, because that's relative to other batters of the time, and there's no context. I haven't actually heard these comparisons, but so 61 ties him with Maris, and then
Maris did it. Maris did it in a 162 game season. Sure. That was the first year they went to 162 games. There was expansion, right? The Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, they were called at the time, and the new Washington Senators. That was actually the Minnesota Twins. The old Washington Senators moved to Minnesota to become the Twins. And then Washington got an expansion team.
Right.
So they added 8 more games. So now it was a 162 game season.
That's why the asterisk.
That's why. How many games did he do it in, right? Which was the determining factor, according to Ford Frick, who ironically was Babe Ruth's ghostwriter. Not ironically, and wanted to preserve the Babe's legend. So he just said, no, we're going to put an asterisk there because he did it in 162 game schedule.
And this is the American League record because, of course, we have those lots of bigger single seasons in the National League, but they were all linked to steroid use, I believe.
Yeah, they absolutely were. Absolutely were. So now the question Mike, is that he's on 60. Let's say he doesn't hit another home run. Let's say he comes to Toronto Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And he's sitting on 60 still, or 61. So he hasn't broken Maris's record. And you're sitting in the bleachers in left field, and you catch the ball. You bet. No, it hits somebody behind you, ricochets, bounces in front of you, and you just grab it. And now you've got the ball.
Okay.
You've got about 20 seconds before you get in your mind to separate reality from fact, from future, from fantasy. What do you do with the ball?
Well, I only need 2 seconds, Hebsy. I make sure I've got full possession and I've got this ball. It's not like I'm not fighting someone for it. It is in my full possession.
It's yours. You've got it.
And I hang on for dear life and I hold on to that ball.
And
I don't do anything right away. I wait a little bit.
But people are all over you. Wake up, the cameras are coming. Here comes the guy. Here comes the guy from the Yankees with security.
Okay.
He's coming right. He's got a big smile on his face. He's coming for you. Because he wants that ball. He's the first guy there. Everyone's waiting. Trust me, they've added more security. The Yankees,
they want that ball, and I have that ball.
When Judge hits that ball in Toronto, you're going to get that ball. And now here they come for you, and you're clutching it even tighter. What are you going to do?
I got 4 kids I want to put through university, and that ball is my ticket. That's my golden ticket. Shout out to Willy Wonka. I don't care. I'm going to shout out Canada Kev on your YouTube page. It says, stick it in your pants, okay? I'll do it. I'm taking that ball with me, and I'm going to assess everything and find out what the price, what the true monetary value of that ball is, and I will sell that ball. What about you, Hebsy? What are you going to do when you catch that 60-second home run ball from Aaron Judge?
I have no kids to put through college anymore. And quite honestly, as a fan, I would just say, listen, man, I'll give you the ball, no problem.
What?
I want to meet Aaron Judge. All right. I want some signed memorabilia. I want season's tickets to the Yankees. All right. And I want some type of lifetime agreement. Right? That I donated this ball. No cash changes hands. I don't need the money. I want the experience. You got that?
I'm listening. I'm surprised, but
no, because to me, to go through the process of how much can I make? Oh, another 70,000. What am I going to do with the other 70,000? I can't think that way. In your case, you think clearly because it's like, this is what it's going to cost me to put these kids through university. You've got a figure in your head, I'm sure, Mike.
But maybe you want to put my kids through university.
No, I don't want to put you. But what I do want is I want the experience, not just the, here you go. Here's the ball. Here's the cash. I would seriously like to go, hey, Aaron, this is for you. Dude, man, thanks, man. This is, Aaron, this is that home run you hit. Here you go.
This is the same league that canceled the World Series in 1994. And you're like, here, have the ball. I just want to meet Aaron Judge.
Yeah. And like, again, no money changes hands, but I'll take tickets to Yankee games or some type of a lifetime pass that allows me to, see games when I want to.
All you can eat loony hot dogs.
Yeah, no, but that would be my thing. Anyway. All right, Mike.
Wow, you're a better man than me, Hebsy.
No, Mike, you're doing it for your kids, for your family. It's if you're not taking it so you can buy a yacht.
No, but if my kids
money you want, the money
buy a
so
cottage, I think. Give me some lakefront cottage property.
No, you can't. No, you're thinking of your kids first. I like that. That's good. It's very noble. Here's the Jays schedule. By the way, they're 13-7 in September. The 3 more against Tampa Bay. So tonight you got Mitch White and company. Tomorrow, Alec Manoah against Rasmussen. Sunday, Stripling against McClanahan. Then the Yankees come to town for 3. Then the Red Sox after that for 3. Then the final 3 at Baltimore. That's 12 games. If they go 7-5, they win 91 games, I think. 92? Anyway. Okay, Tampa's remaining schedule. These 3 against Toronto. Then at Cleveland for 3. At Houston for 3. And Houston just skunked them 3 games in a row. And at Boston for 3. That's tough. They're in trouble. Seattle, listen to this, pushovers. And Seattle's 1.5 behind the Jays. Tampa's 1 back of the Jays. Seattle's 1.5 back. They got 3 at Kansas City. And then they're home to Texas for 3, Oakland for 3, and Detroit for 4. Pushover. 13 games, they should go 9-4.
Woo.
Which means you'd have a 3-way tie for the my calculation, 3-way. So the Jays have to win these games because they have to win the season series against Tampa.
Right.
And last night, as soon as they scored a run in the first inning of Tabby and Bucker, oh yeah, if we take 3 out of 4, then we got this many wins, we're going to win the season series. And I'm like, hang on a second. Berrios is out there. Just chill. Relax.
Woo.
Okay, hockey now.
But having fun, Hebsy, this is what we love, right? This is meaningful baseball, late September.
God, this is fantastic.
Woo!
This is so much fun.
Woo.
Okay? I've been listening to the radio broadcast, though, and they gotta step it up. I need more enthusiasm. All right? Ben on his own, it's tough when you're by yourself, man. You're telling stories to yourself, not to yourself. That's difficult. But now that he gets to go on the road, and they got to send somebody with him. He can't be doing it solo on the road. And I apologize. And no offense to Ben Nicholson Smith, but those two together, just I don't know. I did like Dan Schulman's son, Ben Schulman, but same thing. They're a bit timid. Can I use that word?
Sure. Meek.
No. Meek is wrong. Meek is like weak. No, timid in that there is sort of, I don't know, afraid to project more or be more demonstrative or something there. That's kind of.
Do you want more Joey Bo in there? Is that what you're looking for?
I don't know what I'm looking for, but I don't know. And I miss Jerry. And
Holy mackerel!
But I miss the combo of 2 people, engaging me with conversation and fact and storytelling and such.
Right.
Okay, hockey now. The Leafs and every other NHL team begun training camp. It's about as boring as an assignment you could have as a reporter. It's fucking horrible. It's just, it's awful because you're sitting in a cold rink and you're going, who's that over there? And who's that guy over there? Austin Matthews has already said he's not going to talk about his contract, so don't bother. So don't. Mm-hmm. Okay, how many goals can you score this year? Oh, please again. You can't talk to Jake.
They just talk about the goal song now.
I know all that stuff. Okay, all that's just white noise. It's we need to win a round of the playoffs. You can't talk to Jake Muzzin because he's out with a back injury, but he was playing golf at the Leafs tournament earlier this week. Okay, but he's got a bad back.
Hope he got the blessing of the docs.
Sheldon Keefe hasn't decided on who's going to play with whom yet. He doesn't even know their names, half of these guys. Really, this is all just a prelude to a long, arduous season where nothing really is going to matter until the playoffs begin.
Right.
Matthews could score 70, could score 75 goals. The Leafs could finish first overall. They could go undefeated. It could happen.
No.
But the fan base has had enough. They're not going to get super excited until the Leafs have won a playoff round. Just one. Okay.
That's how low our bar is here.
No, just start with 1.
Right.
We'll start with 1. By the way, the Washington Capitals have told their organist, the house organist, that his services are no longer required.
Oh,
now this is outrageous. And Mike, you had Jimmy Holmstrom, the great Jimmy Holmstrom,
right.
on your Toronto Mike podcast recently. He's been there. I mean, he was there when the Leafs were there.
87.
He replaced Ralph Fraser at the organ, who used to do Blue Jays and Leafs games before the Raptors ever existed. The organ is an integral part of sports, of hockey, of baseball. Organists, not flipping tape, not throwing on what we got on Spotify here. And I get the walk-up song stuff. I get it.
Right.
But come on, man. The organist is very important, because without Jimmy Holmstrom, Leaf games wouldn't be the same. Okay?
Agreed.
Organs are vital in hockey. That's all I'm going to say. Organs are vital in hockey. Zdeno Chara, Keith Yandle, and PK Subban all retired on the same day this week. Apparently, no teams were interested in these players. This is becoming a recurring theme, and I don't want to mention names, but guys like Joe Thornton, guys who are going to retire, should retire, will retire if nobody calls them. And then there's guys who, they might get a call next month, or when a team has an injury in November, December, whatever. Have you been working out? Are you training? Can you come and play? Because there's just so many injuries in hockey, it just seems lately. Anyway, Zdeno Chara is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's a for sure.
Agreed.
But what about PK Subban and Keith Yandle? Mike, Yandle played in 1,109 games, 989 of them consecutively. A defenseman. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
He broke Doug Jarvis's record. Doug Jarvis is not in the Hall of Fame. Yandle scored 614 points, but he never won the Norris Trophy. I don't even think he was top 3 Norris Trophy ever, and wasn't much of a playoff performer. I would say he's equal with Wade Redden.
Ooh.
Okay, good player, not a Hall of Famer.
Better than Wade Redden. But I know where you're in the right ballpark there.
Better than Wade Redden?
I think so.
Wait.
I feel Wade
Keith
fell
Yandle
off a cliff. Go ahead.
Keith Yandle better than Wade Redden? Oh, okay. Not much. Not by much. Okay. PK Subban, definitely a conversation here, because
Really?
he had some great seasons in Montreal, and he had at least one really good season in Nashville. He won a Norris Trophy. He won a King Clancy Trophy, 834 games, 467 points, 3-time All-Star. Popular guy. But Mike, his last 3 seasons in New Jersey, awful. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I thought he had retired.
Really?
I thought he had said that he was going to retire, something up to that. I mean, he was just such a non-entity in New Jersey.
Right.
So that to me is like kind of falling off a cliff. Like Wade Redden had some other issues.
Right.
And I'm not sure they affected his play at the same level. He did come back and was a pretty effective player. But in the meantime, yeah, to me, like whatever happened, he's only 33, PK. But it's sort of like, what happened to PK?
Yeah. Of all those 3, now the first 2 I wasn't surprised by. I mean, gosh, Chara's like my age, okay? This guy's,
Tremendous.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like you said, first ballot Hall of Famer. But PK Subban, I was straight up shocked when I saw him announce his retirement. I had no idea he was going to bow out at 33. But as you know, he's destined for another job in hockey.
He already has it. He's got it locked up. A trip to the broadcast booth. I mean, more than that, he's going to create content because he's been doing it for the NHL for a couple of years now. He was part of those, join PK, some of the early vlogs, I guess, and stuff like, not early, but.
Oh yeah, he's a natural.
And was doing it, years ago.
But
very camera friendly and very knowledgeable. And why wouldn't you want? And the other thing, let's face it. I mean, PK Subban checks all the boxes when it comes to being a television commentator, a video content creator. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
this guy's got expertise in many, many things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hebsy, why can't we keep a guy like that here? Like, I mean, for sure he's going to end up at like ESPN or something. We just can't afford PK Subban. That's the deal. Like, we're not going to call. Like, Rogers won't pay because PK should be the guy at Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, I really think Hockey Night in Canada is and has been going through, major changes over the last few years. It really, I think the way the tide is going is that it's going to systematically eliminate the
personality.
In some cases, yes, the older components to Hockey Night in Canada. And I'm talking about human beings and segments and ideas and panels and the way they're structured. Because hockey's unique, because hockey's the only sport where there's two separate intermissions. There's no halftime in hockey like the other sports, okay? You got your pregame and your postgame, sure, but you've got two intermissions to fill, and it's important for television. It's been a big part of it, right? You know, they're not going to change that. You've got.
Why can't we have entertaining intermission shows? Like PK,
I don't know.
Keep them here. That's what I watch when the Leafs are playing the Habs on a Saturday night. And I'm telling you, the direction they're going, Hebsy, is to make it as more boring. Have you noticed? This is the progression. Like, let's make this more boring. PK would make it more exciting.
Well, how is he going to make it more exciting? Like, you tell me.
He's got personality.
No, but that's great. You're a producer.
Like John Sherry without the baggage.
So you're a producer, and you say, all right, we want PK. What's his role? What's his role?
Make him the new Don Cherry without the baggage. Like,
all right. How do you approach that? Do you have him come on by himself and just go off on his own? Do you have a
you
Ron?
Can give him a straight man, like a Ron McLean type. If not Ron McLean, somebody.
All
like,
right. So does Ron McLean now play the straight man? What do you think, PK? And he goes off, and
but that's it. The straight man doesn't matter, right? Like, it's all about PK. You just need somebody to be his foil and set him up.
That's asking a lot of a guy to carry Hockey Night in Canada the way Don Cherry did.
He's that good.
Is he?
He's going to end up a star on ESPN. Man. He's going to end up a star on ESPN. Right. Why can't he end up a star on Rogers, who has all the NHL rights?
All right. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't disagree. I'd love to see him.
Passionate about this.
I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him.
I just want to be entertained by an intermission again. It's been so long since I've enjoyed a, Hockey Night in Canada intermission.
Yeah, I think intermissions are going the way of the dodo. I think it's back to the news desk for an update. I think it's promote your other product, your other shows, your other stuff. I think people are not prepared to sit and listen to any kind of interview for any more than two questions of the guy as he comes off the ice, which they pre-record. The panel thing is risky. Okay, the way they do it on ESPN and on Turner is much better. There's personality, there's fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's fun. I don't know what's going on. What's happening with the panel? What's Biz Nasty going to say? What's Tocchet going to say? Even Gretzky. It's much more refreshing than some of the stuff we've got here. Look at it. Hockey Night in Canada is doing stuff that they're taking that show 32 Thoughts and they're taking it on the road this year. Oh. No Rogers hometown hockey, but 32 Thoughts is on the road. We're in London, Ontario with Friedge and Jeff Merrick. There's Christine
Cheaper to do that.
Hey. Want me to tell you something? It's going to be a lot more engaging.
Right.
That's what you want. You want engagement.
Right.
Stuff like that.
I mean, I'm just saying, you check Twitter when PK is telling it like it is.
Oh, I know.
It would be great.
It's a natural. And it's perfect timing for him, and he's very much in demand. Okay, NBA. The Boston Celtics have suspended coach Ime Udoka for the upcoming season, effective immediately, and with no guarantee that he'll be back with the franchise. Okay, this is a guy that took the Celtics to the finals last year against the Golden State Warriors. They hadn't been to the finals in like over a decade. Okay, Ime Udoka. So according to ESPN, The Athletic, and the Boston Globe, Udoka had a consensual relationship with a female member of the team's staff. So, Quote, I am sorry for putting the team in this difficult situation, and I accept the team's decision, said Udoka, who led the Celtics to the final. They lost in 6 games to Golden State, if you've forgotten. But what a run it was for the Celtics. So, Mike, I don't know how many females are on the staff of the Boston Celtics. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who these people are because it was consensual. I don't know how they could have kept it quiet. But in the meantime, you can't do that.
But Hebsy, I've worked from home a long time now, but I used to work in an office, and you used to work in an office, and consensual inter-office trysts were the norm. You know what I mean? Like, is it the power imbalance?
It's got to be. You're talking about the head. You're talking about the head coach of the Celtics.
This is like the CEO.
Anyone on the staff would be a subordinate.
Okay, so
which meant that hang on. Which meant that this young lady who he had a consensual relationship with would be looked at by others of the same ilk in the office or whatever her role was as getting favoritism, and you can't have that.
I think it's
in a power imbalance. You can't have that. Decisions were being made by someone. You're going out with someone who is a decision maker. That person could have an effect on your future with the organization as sort of a conflict of interest. And also it's unfair to the rest of the staff, consensual or not. Like, you guys getting married?
No, I think you flip it. I think the woman could be afraid to not consent, like afraid to say no because it could jeopardize her career. So she would be pressured to be consenting to these activities because she wants to keep her job. Like, I think that's the bigger issue here. Like, if you start
do you know this, or you're just speculating here?
I'm speculating, of course, but that is the problem when it's a power imbalance. Like these
for sure.
Yeah,
of course,
like, he's coming on to me. If I say
what
no,
do I do? Right. What do I do?
I might get fired. So I'm going to say yes.
I don't know if that was the case. We may never know. But the point of the matter is that it was inappropriate. You're shtupping somebody that works in the office.
Right.
You can't do that.
And you can't beneath you on the org chart.
No good. You're a boss, and that person is not a boss. And a lot of shit can come from. We know all about that. In golf, they're playing the President's Cup this weekend at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina. This competition features the U.S. version. The U.S. versus an international team, but the U.S. is like the Goliath here, man. And there's no Davids on the international team. By the way, the international team does not include Europeans. Okay, the international team is like Canada and Australasia. Is that an expression? Is that Australasia? Is that a Oceania?
Yeah, the Oceania.
Is that about right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no Europeans. Like, that's Ryder
Cup.
New
Zealanders are on this team, but
New Zealanders and Australians and Canadians and Koreans and Japanese and you know what I mean? But no South Africans and no Europeans and
Well, South Africans are not in Europe.
No, but they're not part of this.
Okay.
There are no South Africans.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? There's Australians. And then don't get me started with accents at this time of the morning. So it's a low rent version of the Ryder Cup. It's kind of like, like you may as well have live against PGA if you're going to have a turn. You know what I mean? As opposed to the U.S. against the international team, because we get blasted every year. Just get the shit kicked out of us. And we got two Canadians this year. We got Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith, who were both on the losing end of their matches, even though it was close. The captain of the international team, Trevor Immelman, this dick. He's got a natural here. You play Connors and Pendrith together, the two Canadians, they're buddies. Why would you break them up? Like, why would you do that? And why would you play Matsuyama and Adam Scott, your two aces? Adam Scott's a New Zealander, and Matsuyama, of course, the Masters champion from Japan. Why would you put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak? You break them up, you dumbass. Anyway, they got their asses kicked 4-1 in the foursomes, which was yesterday. Foursomes is alternate shot, Mike. So I drive, you hit the next shot, and then so on until the ball's in the hole. And then on the next hole, you hit the first drive. And then that's alternate shot, right? And so they got their asses kicked. And then today they're playing what's known as 4-ball, where every player plays his own ball, and the team that has the best score on that hole wins the hole. And if not, the hole is halved. Anyway, it's very exciting, or not. It wasn't yesterday. Not even close. So get rid of this competition. It's just like, it's boring. It's not the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup's exciting. This is fed, right? And it's great that Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith were close, but come on, close is good in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that's it. Right. So I don't even know if I'm going to watch the rest of it, because they've got Schauffele and Scheffler and Cantley and Spieth and JT and Morikawa, and they got all this firepower, and we got to. Taylor Pendrith is nice. He's Canadian. He's like 110th in the world. And Connors is a good player, but he's not top 10. He's close, I guess. Anyway, I'd rather be playing at Crosswinds anyway. Wouldn't you?
No contest for me, Hebsy. I'm at Crosswinds every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Now I'm ready to go.
I watched some of the NFL Thursday Nighter last night. The Cleveland Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 29-17. Coming back to win after that disaster against the Jets the week before. I used to be a huge Browns fan. I'm not anymore when I was a kid, but they're just, all those years of just heartbreaking. I mean, I'm going back to the Ernest Biner fumble. I'm going back to the drive, by Elway. I'm just way back there. Brian,
tough to root for a team named after the owner.
Well, the old owner, no,
Yeah, just
the new owner,
Browns,
old
'cause the
owner.
guy's
Yeah.
name was Brown, like, you know.
Yeah, the original was Paul Brown. Yeah, and Jimmy Brown was their superstar. That's
Yes,
just
of course.
too weird. Too weird. Anyway, the Brownies now 2-1. Steelers are 1-2. Of regional importance this weekend, Sunday, we got the Buffalo Bills in Miami to take on the Dolphins on Sunday. Both teams 2-0, so something has to give. I don't know what. The Bills favored by 5.5. Take the Bills, give the points. Buffalo looked so good the other night. Just clobbering Tennessee.
Oh, they look amazing so far.
Steamrollers. In tennis, it's last chance for Roger Federer. Last chance to see him in action. He and Rafa Nadal team up this afternoon at the Laver Cup in London. And it's on TSN. Looking forward to it. It's on, it's probably around 4:00 this afternoon. And they're the night match. They got two sessions. They got the day session and the night session. So they put the Federer Nadal doubles. I forget who they're playing. It doesn't matter. I think it's Jack Sock and somebody else. But it's Rafa and Roger together playing, and it'll be Roger's final appearance. It'll be great. Looking forward to that. Lots of tears. Broadcast news. The Raptors announced that all 82 of their games this year will be broadcast on radio and none will be simulcast. None. Okay? And they're going to go on the road, which is great news because when we talked to Eric Smith last year, he was doing the shows out of the studio,
right?
The road games. Anyway, TSN Radio has got Paul Jones and Javon Shepard on the call this year. The Fan 590 has Jonesy and Eric Smith handling the call. TSN and Rogers will split the TV games. Excuse me. I don't have real time to go over all the announced combinations, Mike. Would take forever. But I know Matt and Jack are doing TSN, and Matt and Alvin Williams will do Sportsnet games.
Same as last year.
I hope Alvin Williams picks up the tempo a little bit, and matches Matt's energy, because it's a little laid back for me, Alvin Williams. Meanwhile, and Mike, you were asking about the fan morning.
Well, I want to read a note I got from Hebsy. His name is Glenn. Loves Hebsy on sports. He says,
"Thank you, Glenn. Thank you.
Can you and Mark discuss what's going on at the Fan 590 concerning their morning show? They have new hosts every 6 months."
Is it that often?
Well, this is, he might have some hyperbole in there, but it feels that way to Glenn. I mean, you yourself.
Hang on.
Okay, you're going to
So
count
who was
them
the
up?
last?
We don't have that time.
What was the last morning team? What was the last morning team there?
Blake Murphy was there.
Okay, the current morning team is Ailish Fofar and Justin Cuthbert.
That last name sounds familiar. Right, that's Chris's son. Wow.
Right, I've not heard him before. Wouldn't recognize his voice. I don't know where he worked before that. I know he's been on somewhere before, and I don't mean to demean the young man at all. But I listened this week, and I think I mentioned too, I believe it's the 46th incarnation of the morning show. That which includes, seven times. Brady by himself, Brady with Price, Brady with Lang, Brady with Price and
Walker.
Ash.
Don't forget
Brady with Walker, Brady with Ash, with what's her name? Ashley Docking. Brady with Price and Ashley Docking, all three of them.
Yeah, and then there was
there. So anyway, there's a bunch with Brady. There's Derringer with Marsden, Derringer with Landry with Marsden, Derringer solo, Inglis with Bowen, Inglis.
Landry and Stellick.
Landry and Stellick, McCowan, Crystal, Lumby, Richards, Ziggy with Scotty Mack and Amber, Scotty Mack with Ziggy only, Scotty Mack by himself. There's just so many, and this latest whatever, and I'm sure I missed some. So now I'm listening, and it's like they just met, and they're, can I use the word again? Timid. Timid. Like, you've got an opinion, man. Let's hear the opinion. But it's sort of like corporate's listening. I don't want to be, critical or whatever. But
really?
So yeah, it was very. I think meek is a good word. And I know it was only their first week together, but chemistry, you got to have some chemistry. Now, mind you, first of all, too much betting talk, just a lot of betting talk and not enough personality. And also a tough listen because you can't get the signal on Bay Street south of Queen. And when I'm driving this week, I'm dropping my girlfriend off at this route I'm taking, and I'm like, and you can't get it. I can't get it. So
okay, interesting, because they as you know, that 590 signal is supposed to be a big signal.
Well, this is again on Bay south of Queen.
Right. Maybe there's interference from the
and maybe I just shouldn't be listening on AM radio in the car. I should be listening.
But a lot of people are. I think.
But a lot of people are.
That's a saving grace.
So that shows a work in progress, indeed, and they need to identify themselves more often, especially Justin. All I heard was, and I'd heard Alish before. I'd heard her going to break saying it's Alish and Justin, and the first thing I thought of was Justin Bourne, but that's not Justin Bourne, right? It's not his voice and Justin. And then I remembered that Justin Cuthbert's name had come up, and
has he been announced as the new morning show host, or is he?
I just noticed today he's on the webpage for the first time.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. Now, Alish was from, is it Alish or Alish?
Is it Berrios or Berrios? I don't know.
Well, okay. I haven't heard, but Alish was part of that other morning show, right? With Blake and who's the other guy they moved to 9 o'clock?
JD Bunkus. That's right. We forgot about him. He's doing a podcast at 9 o'clock. Anyway, so now I'm listening to this, and now I'm flipping over to TSN 1050, and it's like night and day. I mean, Aaron Karolnik and Carlo Koliakovo have a fantastic chemistry. Aaron used to be the producer of the morning show when it was Carlo and Michael Landsberg.
Right.
Aaron has, to me, slid in, and he was on quite often, was on quite a bit on the mic. He has slid in seamlessly. I don't know how long they've been doing it for, a year, longer? Anyway, they've got a great energy. They got enthusiasm. They got good chemistry. They're not afraid to offer a controversial opinion or go at each other, which is what I want to hear. They're not afraid to rattle the other person's chain like you do with me, Mike.
It's fun.
So, and Overdrive in the afternoon is terrific. And, the fan has got to, I don't know, man, I know they're trying to now do something that's seasonal, but I got to know that if I'm flipping on the station, I can get at a certain time, but I guess they're going after the podcast. It's like, listen, if you can't hear it live, listen to the podcast. But I have to tell you, there are certain shows that should be live and available live, and radio provides that, and the podcast doesn't provide that. It just doesn't.
And how important, Hebsy, is it for this Fan 590 lineup to be inexpensive? And I say that because the biggest change is that they took Brunt off the list, and Brunt was the best they had, in my humble opinion. And I haven't heard a lot of these new people. It's Alish, by the way. Brian tells me it's Alish is how you say that name. Mm-hmm. But how important is the cost of these personalities to the Fan 590?
Well, it seems to me that, the bean counter a long time ago said, all right, slash budget as much as you can. And I think that, to look at the revenue that the Fan 590 is taking in, I don't know what kind of revenue they're taking in. I don't know what they charge for spots. I don't know if they're overloaded. I do hear a lot of promos, and on Rogers especially, mm-hmm. a lot of the between innings stuff. You've got your commercials, which they just run the same commercials, but they run a lot of promos, because think of all the content that they have to promote.
Right.
Sportsnet Central, 32 Thoughts, this game, that game coming up. There's just so much that they're using, what could be commercial time and using promos, which, as you know, are unpaid for. Right.
Right.
And so I don't know what kind of, I don't know what they've got coming in. I don't know. The number of viewers to Sportsnet games may not translate to, as big a number as we think. I don't know. But on the radio side, for sure, they're not taking in huge dollars. And I don't know what their numbers are like, but certainly not like in the heyday of radio.
Well, I would argue that, and again, I haven't seen their T4 slip, so I'm speculating once more, but Alish and Justin probably combined are not pulling in what a veteran like Stephen Brunt would command from.
Oh, sports. Not even close.
Right.
Not even close. I wouldn't even speculate, but if you're doing morning radio and you're any good in a major market, you're well into six figures. Major right. market, you're well into six figures. I would say I would be surprised if either of these two are making close to six figures.
Combined?
I can't see it. You have to have experience and you have to have some cachet.
Right.
Under normal circumstances, if you're on a morning show.
Right.
And quite frankly, I'm sure TSN is not paying big bucks to Aaron Karolnik and Carlo Koliakovo. 6 figures? I don't know. It's what kind of ratings do they have? What type of revenue are they taking in? Right? I don't know. I'm sure the big money is going, to the folks on Overdrive there. I would think that they're probably taking in some pretty good dough there. But anyway, you know what? To me, in a major market like Toronto, you've got to have some kind of name recognition. You've got to have some type of cachet. You've got to have some reason to want to tune these people in and hear what they have to say. And the people that are on the fan just doesn't do it to me, right? They sound like they're just getting to know each other. So you know who I listen to, man? I listen to like Roz and Mocha are fantastic, right? And their producer. Like, they're great. They've been together for years. They're funny. They're quick. They don't, you know what I mean?
Well, that's more engaged.
Right? Whereas, these other, like the ones that are on like 98.1, the other Rogers station. What's that? CHFI?
Well, that's Pooja and.
Oh my God.
They were TV stars, Okay.
Doesn't translate to radio. Mike, this is the thing.
Right.
Doesn't translate. Radio is special. This. The voice is special. What I'm listening to. Can you tell me a good story? Have you got a good joke? Have you got some pace, some enthusiasm? If I want somebody reading the phone book, okay. But I mean, they've got people who, because like you say, they were good on television, or they're great writers, or good bloggers, that I want to listen to what they have to say. No, in a lot of cases, most of the people who are writers cannot command my attention. Their voice can't do it. And Mike, you and I know a few of them. I don't have to mention names. Excellent, brilliant writers.
Sure.
And just like, I love your writing. Not crazy about listening to you tell me your stories on the radio or however. So there's people like that. Anyway.
If I went back in time, Hebsy, like 10, 15 years ago, and I said, okay, in this Canada's largest market.
Yeah.
Toronto, of course. And I'm speaking of Toronto, everybody. Yeah. And the biggest sports radio station of the time, which was the Fan 590. And I said, your morning show is going to be not Chris Cuthbert, but his son, Justin, who's that's a new name to me, I got to say. And
he's on the morning show. It's not like I don't know if he did overnight.
The morning show is Justin Cuthbert in Ailish Fofar. To me, I'd say, they gave up. They got the signal, and they're billing because they have 590 and there's some heritage there, but they've given up. Like, it's not Strombo and PK Subban in the mornings. You know what I mean? Like, this is Justin Cuthbert.
That would be a hell of a show.
Yeah. See, that would be a pricey show. That would be expensive.
That would be a heck of a show. I'd listen to that show.
I know. I just thought about it. Let's do it.
They don't have that. They're not going to spend the dough. Mike, you know what I'm going to do? And I think you should as well.
What are you going to do, buddy?
I think I'm going to listen a little more next week, and we'll get an update. We'll see if they've improved. I don't wish them any. I'd like to listen, but I want to be engaged. I want to be engaged.
Not like I want the job, right?
And I hope I hope everyone was engaged today by our discussion, and will join us next week. That's it for episode 302 of Hebsy on Sports. Thanks to Toronto Mike for, as always, production and inspiration. Hit him up at Toronto Mike and listen to his excellent podcast. Thanks as well to our terrific sponsor, Crosswinds Golf and Country Club in Burlington. Fabulous golf, beautiful views, tremendous customer service. Go to crosswindsgolf.com and book your tee time online. And thanks to you, the listener, for allowing us into your headspace. We appreciate it. And we'd love you even more, if that's possible, if you'd write a nice review, share however it works for you on whatever platform, spread the word about the podcast.
Tell 5 friends and family members that Hebsy on Sports is the best damn sports podcast in this country.
And shout out to Kevin, who I ran into in Golf Town in where was I? In Aurora, Ontario. The Golf Town in Aurora. He said, hello, I listened to the podcast. Love it. Thanks. He was looking for golf bags. Really expensive. They were really expensive. So thanks, Kevin, for approaching me in the store. Most people won't approach me for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, back with another podcast next week. Until then, so long for now.